So we're here with Marc Ching, the dog rescuer, as LA Weekly called him. Pretty much a hero by everybody's standards, especially out here in Los Angeles and in the animal rescue community. Have you heard this? Like, you're literally being called a hero.
I get anxiety when I hear that, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
But anyways, sure.
See, I think it's your natural humility, actually. But no, it's true, you're being called a hero. LA Weekly, he's on the cover, and it says the dog rescuer. Marc Ching has put his life at risk to rescue hundreds of dogs from Asian slaughterhouses. Where did it start?
So last year I learned about Yulin, which is, I think a lot of people know about, that dog festival in China. And so at the time when I saw it, I saw these pictures on social media. I kind of didn't believe that, you know, that it happened.
That people were capable of that.
Of the torture and the abuse. So last year I went in September for the first time. When I went, you know, my trip was very different from how it is now. When I went back in September, you know, I kind of rescued from, you know, black market places, or like I went to a black market slaughterhouse. Now I go undercover as a dog meat buyer, and it's just the worst thing ever.
So Marc's been in literally hell. I don't even know how else to describe it. In my wildest nightmares, I could have never imagined that this kind of stuff went on. He just tried to show a video to our camera guy, and I literally have to plug my ears. I can't hear or see anymore. But I'm just gonna I'll let Marc tell you a little bit of the severity of it, so that I don't chase you away completely from this message. Can you just give us a gist of what they're actually doing to these animals on a daily basis?
Sure.
Stolen pets, by the way.
So every region has a different type of method, but there's current themes, which, you know, it's torture. Not every slaughterhouse tortures, but a large amount of them do. The most common is hang, beat, dismemberment, and burning. And so they'll hang the dogs, they'll beat them with like pipes and stuff. The abuse can last from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. And they always cut off their feet for some reason to kind of let them bleed out slowly. And then when they're all about to die, they blow torture them alive. And so that's a typical way. Variations of the abuse kind of changes per slaughterhouse. I've seen just the most brutal things you can see. Removal of eyeballs so they can't see them being burned alive. Cut the chest open. There's a place that they cut like around the tail, and they pull their intestines out and stuff like that. And so it's pretty terrible.
So then, my God, I can't even believe that they would, the thoughts even come to their mind to do this stuff. I just can't understand. So, and you don't see any remorse? You don't see any kind of compassion whatsoever about what they're doing? They don't hear the animals screaming? How can they be human if they don't even respond to the screams of pain and terror? Do you see any empathy in their eyes? Do you see any kind of remorse at all about what they're doing?
No.
Nothing.
And you know what's sad or what's terrible is that it's worse than people think. And so my videos, or the documentation that, you know, the things that I do and the documentation that I obtain, I haven't really posted any of it online because it's so brutal. But it's just, you know, Zoe, the dog you saw, you know, the cruelty is bad. They cut off her feet, stuff like that. But it's a mild case, in my opinion. And so it just goes to show like how horrific the industry really is. A lot of these people who, you know, run the dog meat trade, they're the same people who sell drugs or do human trafficking or things like that. And so that's kind of like the mentality you're dealing with out there, or the type of people who are running the industry. To do the kind of things that they're doing, it's all intertwined together. And so overall, they're not the best people, I would say.
I feel like you're really on a roll now. I mean, I feel like you're really getting a lot of notoriety, which, by the way, I found out we have an extra LA Weekly copy.
Look at this.
No, stop it. That's amazing. Doesn't it? He looks like a movie star, right, guys? I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of positive comments on this. I think this is fantastic.
Can
LA
I
Weekly?
keep that?
Yes, of course. This is for you. Oh, I have some other things I brought for you too. I'll let you open it, and then I'll explain what it is.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. This is I guess this is a special moment. I don't know.
It's all for protection. It's for protection.
Wow. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. I can show the camera. Huh?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So this is just a little angel medallion for protection. And then a rosary. I'm not necessarily Catholic per se, but I swear this has just recently saved my life from a horrible accident.
Wow.
And then this is Archangel Michael. It's a little tiny medallion
thanks.
that you can keep it on you at all times.
I promise I'll take this with me.
Oh,
Promise.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I know you've been gifted things when you're over there, and very.
Yeah.
What was the story about? I saw somewhere a kid walked up to you and gave you some kind of protection, but it was like something weird, right? It was like.
Yeah, I was driving out to like, we were just stopped someplace waiting, picking up water. And so I was waiting over there, and I was in like, I don't know, it's this tuk-tuk vehicles. It's like, I don't know, kind of like, you know, there's no windows and stuff. So this kid walked up to me and said something in Cambodian, and I asked my translator what it was. I forgot what he told me exactly, but I documented it. Something about like the devil or something, like where I'm going or something. And he gave me this thing. That's just the weirdest thing ever. And I didn't know if he was telling me I was gonna die or if I was gonna like make it. The place we were going is one of extreme violence. He was telling my translator like, you know, I've been looking for you for the last couple of days, and so, you know, get all emotional talking about it. But I'm alive, and that's what matters, I guess.
What's your next venture right now? You go. I know Yulin's coming up. Are you going to Yulin again?
I'm actually taking over a slaughterhouse and blowing it up in Cambodia.
Whoa. You're physically blowing it up?
Yeah, physically
Okay, I have to
blowing it
high five
up.
you on that.
Yeah. So.
Wow, how are you getting access and how are you able to do that?
I've been to this place already. I documented the torture there. I got this family to agree to a deal to give me the slaughterhouse, and in turn, I'm gonna start a vegetarian noodle restaurant for them.
I love that.
Yeah, so, you know, I took some criticism, like, why are you helping the torturer? But people have to understand, without giving them a way out, I can't stop it. And so, I even have an attorney from Cambodia who's drawing up a legal document that this family cannot slaughter dogs or any animal for business or profit. This family does 30 to 40 dogs, 20 to 50, you know, some mid-range like that. And so if you look at it per day, continual, you know, they estimate that they do 10,000 dogs a year. And this is extreme torture, not like a mass place where, you know, like...
What? It's extreme torture?
Oh, they do extreme
And it's
torture.
a family?
It's a family-run slaughterhouse, yes.
And the whole family is totally fine with extreme
they're teaching
torture.
their children how to do it now. And there's another place that I went to Vietnam where I interviewed the family. They're traditional, meaning that they've been doing it for hundreds of years. They represent a large, I mean, they do 100 to 200 dogs a day. He told me that when they do this to a dog, he feels nothing. And so...
That's a psychopath. That's like a complete mental and personality disorder that's just like incurable.
So I did that slaughterhouse takeover, and then I'm going to Indonesia to do undercover documentation. They have this big event coming up, which is like some kind of like mass torture ritual thing. And so they do 244 dogs at this event at 4 in the morning, and someone would be there. And then I go to Yulin. And in Yulin, I fly in a day earlier, and I'm shutting down restaurants. I just came from Yulin about 3.5 weeks ago.
How are you shutting them down? That's amazing.
I already put the deal in. I'm going to have about 10 large restaurants shut down. And so it's going to say in the front, closed by Animal Hope and Wellness in Chinese. It's going to be awesome. Those are like the bigger restaurants that the people congregate in front of. And so, you know, Yulin is such a short time where this is every day. But it's going to be a high-profile media event where all these people will be there. And so if we can shut down 10 restaurants, I mean, that's just huge.
For good, not just for this festival.
It's only for the festival.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But it's still like, if they kill 10,000 dogs, and these are the main restaurants, you know, maybe 5,000. I mean, who knows? I could even... All I know is, like, you know, I'm only one person. So
Exactly.
I go to the places where most people don't go, and so I see things that... I see the worst of humanity. And I believe, like, in these societies, just like our societies, that there's a large portion of the population that is good and does good things, you know. Because there's no animal cruelty laws, I don't think there's a law to punish these people. And that's kind of what we're pushing for out there. Two things. One is the animal cruelty law to protect all animals, or banning the dog meat trade.
Dog and cat meat trade. I don't want to forget the cats.
Yeah, dog and cat meat trade. I don't know if people know, but I have all this documentation of cat torture too, like tons, you know. And so the dog meat trade is more widespread. The cat meat trade is less because cats are harder to catch.
What can people do? How can they help you, and what can they do personally to stop this horror once and for all?
I think awareness is the most necessary. A lot of people don't want to read my posts when it's actually not that gruesome. They're very sad, but I think when you share the post or when you talk about it and you acknowledge that it's happening, it's the best thing that can be done. And once people know and are outraged, more people will start doing things. And the movement that I represent will be huge. We have so much power. You know, it takes so little to help it. And you don't have to leave your family to go to Asia to inspire change. You know, we can be heroes in our community or things like that, you know. And so I think if everybody did a little more, it'd be easier for the people who need the help. With all the devastation and destruction that I see, I still believe that someplace in our hearts we have good. And the whole thing that we do, it's about trying to connect back to that place or trying to pull people out of that darkness. I still believe that there's hope for all people, you know? And so, yes, evil exists, but so does good.